Yeah, just let me know when we're on. I'm just gonna, you know how addicted I am to these things. So. Mm-hmm. Those scoops. I had to get another bag. Oh, they're perfect. They're good plain. Sometimes I also use my sun-dried tomato pesto. Oh, it's perfect. But see, like this is breakfast for me. This is breakfast. Mm-hmm. Oh, great. Well, I know it goes with pasta, but I like it here. Don't judge me. I know. Look, you're not giving me a signal, so I'm not. Listen, this is the chew. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm chewing. All right, I'll do that. I must have a sip first. Almost. I know. Are we doing the Are we doing the Dan Savage story? The with the. Are we gonna do that? Oh, okay. All right. I'm ready. Good afternoon and welcome to the Chew WCHU. I'm Dexter, and thank you for joining me on this gorgeous Monday afternoon. And we'll get started. I'm going to be letting you know about some things happening around the Chicagoland area. And we'll have a story regarding one of our former editors at the Chicago Reader. And she'll be talking about a John Wayne Gacy project. Sorry, excuse me. This is what I get for trying to eat right before airtime. Anyway, are you an artist, writer, or performer? Creative solutions for creative people. Supportive, affirming, and goal-directed psychotherapy and hypnotherapy for adults. Max K. Shapey, LCSW, located in downtown Evanston, 847-877-1940. Or you can contact him at 847. I'm sorry, you can contact him at www.maxshapey, maxshapey.com, or maxshapey@aol.com. And just so that you know, free isn't free. And we've been free since 1971. We couldn't be free without you. So support community journalism. Excuse me, I can't read today. ChicagoReader.com/donate. You ever heard of Mindy's? Chastity? That's Chastity Belt Buckle I'm speaking to. You probably can't hear her, but yeah. James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel is bringing her signature culinary style to the world of cannabis-infused gummies. Did you know that? You didn't. Well, starting with memories from her culinary journey, Mindy carefully crafts each iconic flavor, combining distinctive ingredients in thoughtful and innovative ways that are both incredibly delicious and entirely her own. Find all the flavors at mindysedibles.com. And now I'll report on a former reader editor, Allison True, pushes for answers about John Wayne Gacy. In 2010, 3 years after the reader had been sold by its original owners, 2 years after the next owner had declared bankruptcy, and 1 year since the paper had fallen into the hands of a hedge fund, our excellent editor, Allison True, was fired. True had been at the Reader for 26 years, 15 of them in the editor's seat, overseeing the work of investigative reporters like John Conroy, Tori Marlin, and Steve Bagheera. During that time, thousands of story pitches and drafts crossed her desk, but one in particular would stick with her. Submitted by Chris Maloney, a Roosevelt University graduate student, it told of a retired Chicago police detective who thought there could be undiscovered John Wayne Gacy murder victims buried in the yard of an apartment building at the corner of Miami and Elston on the city's northwest side. The submission had come in late in her tenure, and the editorial budget had been slashed, and she'd been forced to let staff writers who authored the paper's lengthy narrative and investigative pieces go. The story was complicated, and the author was new to her. Sources would have to be reached, information would have to be vetted. The little budget I had left would not support the kind of investigation that this manuscript would have required, so I sent it back to him and offered to help him find another place to sell it. Then I got fired. Allison True moved on but couldn't shake that story. A year later, she called Maloney to offer free editing advice and help in finding a publisher. After posting the piece online and deciding to sell it as an ebook, he told her he was finished with it but had no objection to other writers picking up the thread. Thinking she should check it out before pushing it to other reporters, True contacted the former cop. She also called an acquaintance she thought might be interested, freelance television producer Tracy Ullman. Together they met with the retired officer, William Dorsch. When no other reporters picked up on the story, True and Ullman started making calls and filling FOIA requests themselves. We were also finding that there was a lot of information already available that did not support the way officials had rolled the story out. The story everybody knew about Gacy was the classic lone wolf serial killer story, a silent, crazy weirdo doing this terrible thing in his house and managing to escape notice for most of the 70s until in December 1978, some suburban police stumbled on his burial ground. We learned, in fact, that Gacy was extremely visible and gregarious, that he worked in local politics, had lots of friends, and hosted a huge picnic every year for hundreds of people. True also adds that the police had ignored information that pointed to Gacy, including a past conviction and arrests, and that there's reason to believe that he had accomplices, though no one else has ever been charged. Gacy was convicted of the murder of 33 boys, 29 infamously found buried in the crawl space and yard of his Norwood Park home. But everyone involved in prosecuting the case agrees that there were probably more victims. Given that, True wonders why, two inconclusive attempts notwithstanding, why there hasn't been more interest in thoroughly checking out the places around the city where Dorsch and others think some of them could be found. And why, when the mother of one purported victim wanted DNA testing to verify his identification, the county authorities fought her request to exhume the remains, and then, after she won that fight in court and proved that the remains had been misidentified, refused to accept her evidence. This was more than just sloppy or lazy police work, True says. We've come to believe that it was a deliberate effort to distort the truth. Why? Maybe, initially, because Gacy was a precinct captain with political ties. Maybe, later, because numerous careers had been built on the resolution of his case. Or maybe because of a connection to a notorious sex trafficking ring operating in Chicago at the time of the Gacy killings. NBC's Peacock channel has produced a 6-part documentary based on True and Ullman's research called John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. Rod Blackhurst, whose previous work includes the documentary Amanda Knox, is executive producer, as is Ullman. True served as executive consultant on the series. Set to start streaming March 25th, it includes old and new interviews with everyone from Gacy's sister and surviving victims to prosecutors Terry Sullivan and William Conkle. Journalists Jay Levine and Larry Potash are prominent, and True, who's also writing a book on this subject, is on camera as well. How many coincidences can you tolerate? You have Gacy and his political connection, a connection between Gacy and a sex trafficking ring that's making pornography, a suggestion of accomplices, more potential victims, the property at Miami and Elston. Each episode includes video from an extensive prison interview of Gacy conducted in 1992, 2 years before he was executed. Responding to questions from a former FBI profiler and consulting a massive Bible of his own research on this case, he looks convincingly guileless as he blames his lawyers for what he calls a faulty insanity defense and claims to have never met any of the dismembered youngsters found in his crawl space. As his longtime prison pen pal, Craig Bowley, notes in the first episode, he comes across as so darn normal. Just your standard affable schlub with steady blue eyes and a who-me air of innocence. It's chilling. And now, in our poetry corner, we'll read a piece from Nishat Ahmed entitled, Until I See You Again. Until I see you again, I will be good. I mean bad. I will be waiting by the door to see you standing there when the grandfather clock chimes. I will pit the olives, and I won't let them touch your plate. I will make the bed, and I won't disturb your place in it. Each sunset that casts its glow is another calendar day crossed off. Until I see you again, each dream I have is my desperate attempt to touch you. Until I see you again, I will not light a candle again while I can still smell you in the air and on my sheets. I will wash this body eventually, but not just yet. Not while your sweat still lingers. I will muddle the mint. I will pour vodka and ginger beer over ice. I will lay the fruit and meat on the wood. On the table, I will lay myself down and hold anything that might resemble you until I see you again. I will lean over again and again to kiss you on the head, and until I see you again, I will be surprised that my lips touch air. Nishat Ahmed is a Bangladeshi American residing in the Midwest. He is an Illinois native with a deep love for Fall Out Boy, The Notebook, and Chipotle. He received his MFA in poetry from Old Dominion University. His first chapbook, Field Guide for End Days, is out now from Finishing Line Press. His second chapbook, Brown Boy, is forthcoming from Pork Belly Press. He changed the world from a jail cell. Who would that be? Well, you can find out from now through September 12th when you visit the Mandela Struggle for Freedom special exhibition at the Illinois Holocaust Museum. Again, that's going on from now. It actually started February 20th and it's still going on and will be going on through September 12th. It's now open. Find inspiration and learn online. Online group classes for all skill levels are forming now. Sign up today at oldtownschool.org. And music and dance classes for all ages. Do you have any of our tote bags? Have you bought them, Chastity? She says, no, she hasn't. Well, you can, listeners. We're excited to launch our Chicago Reader tote bag. They say, It's all about the Chicago Reader. The $25, which includes the shipping. You can go on to chicagoreader.com/store for more information to get a look of them. To get a good look at them, they look pretty good. In the world of film, let's talk about Billie Eilish's The World's a Little Blurry documentary. Billie Eilish has had an unbelievable couple of years. To put it lightly, R.J. Cutler's mammoth of a documentary follows the ins and outs of the 18-year-old musician's meteoric rise that puts her feelings at the forefront. The World's a Little Blurry follows Eilish through the most pivotal years of her career and her teenagehood, but she is able to speak for herself when she has so often been spoken about, and over-speculated. Cutler graciously weaves between Eilish's public and private lives and reveals just how blurred those lines become with fame and how emotionally taxing that can be for a young teenager. The World's a Little Blurry is most captivating, though, when it peels back the curtain on her mental and physical health. Flipping through personal pages of her diary, gritting her teeth through necessary physical therapy, feeling bombarded and used by people just trying to control her. But between the glitz of her sold-out tours and historic Grammy wins, the film is equally concerned with who she is outside of all that, a teenager. She records music in her bedroom with her brother. She fangirls over Justin Bieber. She gets her driver's license. She just happens to be one of the biggest pop stars in the world. And the United States versus Billie Holiday. A necessary yet poorly edited film undercuts the power of both Billie Holiday's story and Andra Day's stellar performance. Day masterfully channels every aspect of the American jazz legend, from her haunting singing voice to her glamorous and rough-around-the-edges swagger. Director Lee Daniels possesses reverence for Lady Day, dutifully capturing her sequins, her signature gardenia, and her habit of shooting up heroin. Yet he hops around the story, unable to surrender to the languid mood, killing the buzz. Opening with a three-way narrative, the script by otherwise brilliant playwright Suzanne Laurie Parks awkwardly has each character highlight Billie's insistence on singing her sobering lynching protest song Strange Fruit over and over again. Loyal Billie fans will forgive these missteps to hear the rarely told story of Harry Anslinger, head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, played by Garrett Hedlund, and his terrifying obsession, which led him to jail and destroyed the career and life of the world-famous star. The best moments of the movie highlight the warmly raucous, drug-fueled backstage carousing with Holiday's entourage of chosen family. Like Judas and the Black Messiah, the story heavily focuses on her ill-advised relationship with and betrayal by FBI informant Jimmy Fletcher, a steady performance by Trevante Rhodes from Moonlight. The second half of the film eases into a relaxed pace, delving into Holiday's heartbreaking upbringing and trauma and a visually arresting dream sequence that realizes the full beauty of Daniel's vision. Like Billie herself, the film is beautifully imperfect. I still think I want to see it. I have to admit that. Are we sure about Dan Savage? Piece. Oh, we have one other. Oh no, we don't. Sorry, I thought we had another thing happening. Do we know about the? We got to talk about the book club. We got to talk about the book club. You almost made me forget. Chicago Reader is proud to partner with these independent bookstores. Book club members receive an additional 10% off at the following stores: The Bookseller, Bookies, Bucket of Blood Books and Records. Say that 10 times fast. The Dial Bookshop, Madison Street Books, Pilsen Community Books, Roscoe Books, Seminary Co-op Bookstore, Volumes Book Cafe, and Women and Children First. And you can join the Chicago Reader Book Club. Exclusive access to conversations between authors and the reader. Discounts to your favorite independent bookstores. These are all the things that the membership includes. A curated monthly newsletter, a members-only discussion forum, and special offers from reader partners. You can learn more at chicagoreader.com/book club. I think we're going to do this. Okay, this is from Savage Love. No, we're going to, this is the next, okay, next time. All right. We don't have it all together at the Wchu, but we do the best we can. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Dexter, and Chastity Belt Buckle says hello and goodbye. And thank you so much for joining us for this segment on WCHU The Wchu.